Arya Chen guided her battered quadrotor through the late afternoon haze, its navigation lights cutting thin green spears through the brownish gloom. At 400 meters, you were supposed to be above the particulate ceiling, but in Hyperion megacity, the ceiling climbed a little higher each month. She kept the cabin window cracked anyway, wanting to smell something besides the plastifabric of her respirator. What drifted in carried the bite of spent diesel, overheated brake pads, and boiled garbage. Same as always. On the console, her dispatch app chimed. Urgent. Priority 7, no scans, no detours. The coordinates blinked on. A rooftop pad in Sector 12, Research District. The fee attached to the run made her whistle, 3 times her usual take for 40 minutes of flight. Guess we eat tonight, Scrappy, she said to the battered drone bus beneath her boots. The quad's rotors tilted in acknowledgement, more out of autopilot reflex than personality. She liked to pretend it understood her anyway. She dipped below a tangle of suspended roadways, dodging autonomous taxis and the erratic darts of pirated delivery kites. Sector 12's silhouette rose ahead, a cluster of skinny towers whose upper stories vanished into the smog like rusted needles thrust into dirty cotton. Arya suppressed a twitch of annoyance. The research district was where the big firms tinkered with greenwashed patents they rarely released. Whatever she was hauling tonight would probably be another prototype destined for the vault. The pickup pad was deserted except for a figure in a matte gray Enviro cloak. The person kept their hood up, respirator masking any hint of identity. They slid a black carbon crate toward her cargo well, its surface pristine except for a glowing red biohazard glyph. "You got my manifest?" Arya asked, following company protocol, if only to hear the answer. A gloved hand produced a wafer chip with encrypted data, single use. No name of sender, no destination beyond a tall ship spire on the far western edge. The hooded courier didn't speak, merely waited while she plugged the chip into her wrist pad. Transfer accepted, funds escrowed. The moment she lifted off, her gut itched. The crate weighed scarcely 30 kilos, too light for biohazard medical waste, too heavy for gene samples. More troubling was the gentle thump she felt through her boots, like a heartbeat amplified by the composite floor. She set her course westward, then punched in a looping detour. The urgent tag forbade scans, but nothing said she couldn't run passive telemetry. A diffused heat signature leaked from the crate, warm, pulsing, alive. She had smuggled black market pets before, luminous koi, nano-stitched cats that glowed in ultraviolet. This felt different. The crate included its own life support battery, which hummed louder the longer she listened. Midway over the Draxton River, Arya surrendered to curiosity. She secured the autopilot on a holding pattern inside a cloud bank, killed the cargo well's interior cameras, and popped the manual override. Inside, nestled in shredded thermal foam, lay a creature about the size of a bulldog puppy. Its scales shimmered iridescent green, edged with dark copper. Tiny wings, no bigger than her hands, curled tight against its sides. The animal blinked large bronze eyes, slit-pupilled and wet with confusion. When it opened its mouth, a whiff of charred cinnamon seeped out. Along its flank, a patch of translucent skin revealed rhythmic flashes, an engineered, bioluminescent heartbeat. "Well, aren't you the strangest contraband?" Arya whispered. The creature chirped, a sound halfway between a chime and a modem handshake. It tried to lift its head, but a mesh harness pinned its shoulders to a small tank wearing hazard stickers. A flexible tube ran from the tank to its throat. Experimental nutrient feed, Arya guessed. Tiny clawed paws paddled at the air, pleading. She found a folded data slate tucked beside the foam. No encryption, just old-school print. Project Nephora. Genus: Dracunculus aeris, provisional. Purpose: atmospheric pollutant bioremediation. Subject: 5A. Handle with minimal exposure to VOCs, high affinity for carbon particulates. Delivery to Etherdyne Containment Facility. Strictly confidential. A baby dragon built to eat smog. Built for this city, maybe for the whole poison planet. And someone wanted it buried in a corporate lab. She resealed the crate and stared through the cockpit glass. On the horizon, the sun was a blood-orange bruise, unable to punch through the opaque air. If the dragon worked, it could carve a hole big enough to let real blue sky show, maybe for the first time in Arya's life. But whatever Etherdyne intended didn't smell like public salvation. Her comm pinged, route deviation detected, penalty warning. Dispatch was watching. So, apparently, was Etherdyne. A second icon lit up, an unfamiliar network handshake trying to access her drone's telemetry. Arya jammed the inbound request and punched throttle. A swarm of black micro-drones appeared on her rear cameras, launching from a nearby billboard scaffold. Corporate security gnats, tiny but fast, each armed with EMP stingers designed to down civilian rotors. She yanked Scrappy into a corkscrew dive, weaving through neon adverts. The gnats reacted, forming a lattice to cut her off. Great. Confirmation she was transporting something valuable. "I hope you're hungry, little one," she muttered, fingers dancing over the flight yoke. Below lay the western expanse, an industrial graveyard of shuttered factories belching residual fumes. Thickest smog blanket in the metro. Perfect cover. She dropped into it. Sensors went near blind. Manual piloting reigned. The crate rattled as the dragonling whimpered. Instinct tugged at her. Protect the fragile thing. She kicked open the cockpit floor hatch and hauled the crate up into the main cabin. With the micro-drone still chasing, something radical formed in her mind. If the creature truly metabolized pollutants, maybe it could give her the edge. She unlatched the harness. "All right, Subject 5A, time to earn your airfare." The dragon clawed onto her lap, shivering. She pointed at a roiling leak of gray fumes billowing from a cracked vent pipe outside. Dinner's served. The hatch hissed. Swirling air flooded in, thick as soup. The dragon sniffed, eyes widening. A single gulp, and torrents of smog spun toward its mouth, sucked in like water down a drain. Within seconds, the cabin cleared. Outside, the pipe vent ran clean, as if someone flipped a filter. The baby belched a cloud of sparkling vapor that smelled faintly of pine needles. Arya coughed in astonishment. Her CO2 sensor dipped drastically, oxygen percentage climbing. The pursuing drones overshot, momentarily blinded by the sudden pocket of clarified air. She exploited the confusion, powering into a maintenance tunnel that ran parallel to an abandoned mag rail line. Steel walls hid her radar signature. For the moment, they were safe. She stroked the dragon's neck. "You're a miracle weapon." Its eyes drooped in drowsy satisfaction. A satisfied predator, after devouring 1,000 cubic meters of poison. She called Rafi Keel over a pirated mesh channel. Rafi had done time for eco-sabotage and owed her after she smuggled his sister out of a riot zone last year. "I need secure shelter and a hard decrypt on Etherdyne's courier log. Got a living package with a bullseye on it." "Living, huh? Not another illegal macaw?" "Think bigger. Think mythic." Silence then. "I'm intrigued and terrified. Sending you coordinates." Rafi's loft sat atop an obsolete air traffic beacon, its rotating lamp long dead. She reached it by hopping rooftops under cover of industrial drones. Inside, holographic graffiti crawled along the walls, code fragments shaped into vines. Rafi greeted her wearing smart specs, lenses reflecting lines of scrolling green. She placed the dragon, now dozing, on a reclaimed sofa. Rafi scanned it with a handheld spectrometer. Polylithic keratin scales, heat-resistant tissue, heavy metal chelators. Someone poured obscene research money into this. Why deliver it instead of shipping data? Arya showed the slate. Rafi's specs spat light as he parsed. Project Nephora. Wait, Etherdyne filed a termination report on this line months ago. Said the prototypes were non-viable, too energy-intensive. Looks plenty viable, which means they lied. Maybe they want Subject 5A euthanized quietly for IP control. Patents make more cash than clean air. Arya's anger rose, steady, focused. She faced the West End Spire listed as the original destination. That facility combined a crematorium with a level 4 biovault. Delivery there meant the dragon would never see daylight again. Rafi tapped his pad. Publicly, Etherdyne launches a new atmospheric scrubber tomorrow, sells cartridges to plug into building vents. Why market filters if you can just unleash one dragon? Because filters generate recurring profit. Bingo. Arya watched the creature breathing, faint smoke rings fluttering from its nostrils. We need a demonstration big enough to make erasing it impossible. Think live stream. Raffi grinned. You get your scaly friend over the densest smog bank at rush hour. I hijack local ad drones, broadcast the feed citywide. People see the sky open. They riot if Etherdyne tries a cover-up. Security will come hard. Raffi shrugged. I'll scramble them 5 minutes tops. After that, you're on your own. Arya gazed at the dragon's perfect wings. 5 minutes might be all we need. They prepped before dawn. Raffi installed a subdermal tracker on the dragon in case Arya lost contact. He also 3D printed a lightweight harness that clipped to her flight jacket, letting the animal perch on her chest like a living figurehead. Looks very Mother of Air, he teased. Shut up and load the flight plan. She launched just as the first commuter convoys clogged the skyways. Hollow billboards flickered amber with smog alerts, recommending indoor activity. Perfect gloom for a miracle. The target was Sector 5's Atmosphere Canyon, nicknamed that because 200-story towers formed sheer walls, trapping vehicular exhaust in a stagnant trench. Visibility inside often dropped to half a meter. She dropped in vertically. Immediately, the drone's filters clogged. Alarms wailed. She coughed wetly, even through her respirator. Turbulence battered them. She felt the dragon tense, nostrils flaring. Raffi's voice crackled. You're live in 3, 2, 1, go. Arya unclipped the respirator from her face so the microphone could catch her real voice. People of Hyperion, look up. She spread her arms. The dragon scrambled onto her shoulders, gripping firmly. Dinner time, she whispered. It inhaled. The sound was impossible. An industrial vacuum married to a thunderclap. Cyclones of particulate matter spiraled toward the tiny mouth. Arya's eyes watered as the air around her brightened, as though someone lit a spotlight above. Her altimeter ticked upward, a thermal column generated by the sudden temperature shift. She rose with it like an elevator. Above, sunlight stabbed through the new clearing, a perfect circular aperture in the smog. Blue sky, real, unfiltered, blazed for the first time in decades. Commuter craft banked away in startled confusion. Their collision avoidance lights flickered like insects around a search beam. Raffi whooped over comms. You're trending top 5 on every feed. Hashtags, real sky, dragon, corporate lies. That also meant Etherdyne saw it. Arya's radar lit with interceptors scrambling from the West End spire. Heavily armed vector jets, not the Nat drones from before. She banked, but they'd catch her in 90 seconds. New plan, Raffi said. Head for Old Cupola Park. Plenty of open space. I'll unlock the civic sirens, draw crowds. They won't dare fire on you. She tipped forward. The dragon clung, still drawing in smog fumes, wings trembling as though growth spurted with every breath. Flames flickered between its teeth, contained but eager. She whispered soothing nonsense. They cleared the canyon wall and shot toward the domed remnants of Cupola Park, once a botanical garden, now a fenced ruin. People already gathered, faces upturned, masks dangling forgotten, as a shaft of clear air preceded her arrival. Some cried out at the sight of the dragon. Others cheered, cell lenses glinting. Etherdyne's jets held perimeter positions, spotlights locked on Arya. A voice boomed. Courier AR-778. Land immediately and relinquish unauthorized bioweapon. Non-compliance will be met with force. Arya hovered 30 meters above the dome's cracked glass. It's not a weapon, she broadcast, patching through the ad drones Raffi hijacked. Her voice echoed across half the city. It's our cure, and you want to bury it. Crowd noise swelled. The dragon finished inhaling and unfurled its nascent wings, suddenly seeming larger, shoulders broadening as its metabolism roared. It looked at Arya, then at the jets, and released a plume of green-tinged flame skyward. The fire burst into a glittering aurora. No heat, only brilliant light, like a fireworks bloom. Gasps turned to applause. The lead jet armed a taser missile. Arya braced. Before it could launch, a volley of civilian drones, newsbots, hobby racers, delivery units, swarmed, blocking line of sight. Pilotless, chaotic, but forming a shield wall. The missile lock refused to engage. On the ground, thousands of phone screens recorded every second. Corporate security risked blowing public goodwill and possibly their careers. They hesitated. City peacekeepers arrived, sirens yowling. Authority shifted, chain of command muddled. Arya landed atop the cracked dome, boots crunching glass. She faced the cameras. This creature is engineered to consume the filth we choke on. Let's see if our city will protect it, or let a corporation kill hope for stock price. Raffi's message pinged. Servers flooded with Freedom of Info demands. Court order pending to seize Etherdyne assets. You did it. She exhaled a shaky laugh. Already she saw blue widening overhead, the dragon's second cleansing circle pushing outward. Sunlight fell on her face, warm and alien. Police negotiators advanced cautiously, but without weapons drawn. One, a captain with silver hair coated in ash, lifted his visor. Whatever that thing is, it just gave my officers fresh air for the first time since academy training. We're not handing it over, but we need containment protocols, public safety. Arya knelt, stroking the dragon's jaw. He needs sky, not cages. Help me build him a roost above the smog line. Give him room to grow. Another cheer rose. The captain's expression softened into wonder. We can clear a flight deck on Justice Tower, highest point in the district, temporary until the council decides. Etherdyne's jets retreated, their pilots stripped of orders. Share prices nosedived live on ticker banners. News anchors called the dragon Skylark, Greenfire, the Breath of Dawn. Arya didn't care which name stuck. She only cared that the creature kept breathing. She and a police escort moved to Justice Tower by sunset. The dragon rode the slipstream beside her drone, wings beating slow, majestic. Below, the city looked like a battlefield between night and day. Wherever the dragon had flown, ribbons of clear air remained, highways of cobalt sky etched into the smog ocean. At the tower's summit, they laid synthetic turf, set up water cisterns laced with trace metals the dragon metabolized. Veterinarian drones ran tests. No pathogens, no unsafe byproducts. The only measurable emission was oxygen enriched with aromatic esters, a faint pine scent that made everyone nostalgic for forests they'd never seen. Reporters swarmed Arya, but she deflected. Talk to the dragon, she joked. He's the real hero. Instead, she found a quiet ledge, legs dangling over the abyss, and watched the horizon pinken. The dragon curled next to her like a colossal cat, head nudging her shoulder. She realized years of grayscale living had numbed her. Color, real color, bled back now. Coral clouds, violet shadows, the emerald gleam of scale under sunset. Raffi arrived via service elevator, breathless. Council issued an injunction. No entity may claim proprietary rights over Project Nephora organisms. Open source biology, baby. Labs everywhere will replicate these cleaners. Arya smiled, tears stinging. Guess I'm out of a courier job. Nah, Raffi said, slinging an arm around her. You're promoted to Keeper of the Sky. Far below, traffic paused as commuters photographed the newborn stars, visible for the first time in living memory. A collective hush spread through Hyperion, not of fear, but awe. The dragon lifted its head, sensing evening pollutants rising. It opened its jaws and drank deeply, an endless breath, its wings unfurling to span 10 meters, then 11, then more, each beat erasing a bit more poison, unveiling another shard of tomorrow. Arya stood, wind whipping her jacket. Go on then, she whispered. There's a whole world to clean. The dragon launched, a living comet arcing across the newborn sky, leaving behind a trail of luminous clarity. For the first time, the megacity inhaled without pain, and exhaled something like hope.